Good morning, students. We will be continuing our poetry talk from yesterday, but today we will be introducing American classical scholar Trumbull Stickney. Today we will be particularly focusing on his short-lived life, his books, and then do a walkthrough of one of his poems. Alright, Stickney was born June 20th, 1874 in Geneva, Switzerland to Austin and Harriet Stickney. His father, Austin, was a classics professor at Trinity College, while his mother, Harriet, was a descendant of colonial government to Jonathan Trumbull. Stickney was born into having to fit the role of his parents by continuing his education. He died October 11, 1904, at the age of 30 in Boston, Massachusetts, due to a brain tumor. For his education, he went to Harvard University, graduating magna cum laude in 1891 with his Bachelor's of Arts. Here are two of his books. The first work is called The Poems of Trumbull Stickney. It was published in 1905 and was edited by his good friends George Cabot Lodge and William Vaughan Moody after his death. Another work is Dramatic Verses. This book was his only book published during his lifetime in 1902. Here we have a few of his poems. In no specific order, we have I Used to Think, In the Past, Service, Sir, Say No More, and the poem we will look further into, They Lived a Morn of the Lovely Moon. Interesting fact. Stickney had a 3-year-long affair between the years of 1896 and 1899. After his passing in 1904, his parents strived to get rid of any trail that would contact him back to his affair. His parents wanted to do this so it would not ruin the reputation that was just beginning.
Searching for his voice, Stickney's studies seemed not to fulfill him. When George Cabot Lodge, his good friend, visited in 1895 to 1896, he commented that Stickney seemed in mute, not cheerful despair. In his time at school, he struggled to resolve his diverging passions. While tackling his career path he had given in to follow, he continued to write poetry, such as his notably long poem Calypso that was later published in Dramatic Verses in 1902. Stickney always planned to publish his writings, but never felt they were ready. He had not yet found his voice. Just as Michelle J. Leggett pointed out in the Dictionary of Literary Biography, though he planned to publish his work, he felt he was as yet unready, that his work had too much thought. When it comes to crafting his voice, his work from this period suggests that he was working to refine what was missing. For example, in his sonnet Cologne Cathedral, written in 1895, you can see the movement towards his passionate and nostalgic voice, such as when he says things like prayer carved the sable flowers, or rose windows in the aisle, or silken long. This displays a movement from his more classical lines pertaining to Greek literature seen in his earlier works. Stickney's later works contain verses focused more on emotional and sensational aspects. When it came to his voice that he is mostly known for, he was known for creating images that were simple yet effective. It is suggested that his affair fueled a lot of his writing. His most memorable work was published right before his death. This is the work that ultimately made for his outstanding legacy, along with the poems published later by his friends after his death. Stickney describes the relationship between sound and structure in a new and original way that is interesting to himself. He shows how physical and spiritual aspects can work together to shape the world. He challenged and exhibited the divisions of modern consciousness. So next we will be reading his poem, They Lived in a Morn of the Lovely Moon. They lived in a morn of the lovely moon, the dawn and twilight on their gentle lake. Then passion marvelously born did shake their breast and drave them into the mid-noon. Their lives did shrink to one desire, and soon they rose fire-eyed to follow in the wake of one eternal thought. When sudden brake their hearts, they died in miserable swoon. Of all their agony not a sound was heard, the glory of the earth is more than they. She asked her lovely image of the day, a flower grows, a million bows are green, and over moving ocean waves, the bird chases his shadow and is seen no more. So first we're going to talk about the structure of this poem. The structure of this poem is what we would call an Italian or a Petrarchan sonnet. This was created by Petrarch, an Italian poet. The Italian sonnet is the English version of the traditional Petrarchan version. These sonnets contain 14 lines, which are broken into two sections. The octave, which is an 8-line stanza, usually having a rhyme scheme of A, B, B, A, B, B, A, and then the second section being a sestet, a 6-line stanza, including rhyme schemes such as C, D, D, E, C, E, C, D, C, D, C, D, or C, D, E, C, D, E. As you can see on the right, we have our poem and the rhyme scheme to the right of it. Trumbull Stickney created this poem to where his first 2 quatrains rhymed, followed by a unique rhyme scheme seen in the sestet. Going line by line, we have the first quatrain, which is lines 1 through 4. This gives us an unclear introduction to an unknown they who live life inseparably. We see Stickney's use of the repetition of they. We are not sure who they is, and this is a setup of the lovers and their passionate love they are consumed with. They live a life of admiration for one another in the starry sky over their lake. This is possibly setting up a world where the 2 lovers have ran away to isolate themselves from the rest of the world to be secluded with their passionate love. We can also see here how Stickney personifies passion. And then we also have the display of awe towards nature through imagery, such as the dawn and twilight on their gentle lake. For the second quatrain, we have lines 5 through 8, which again repeats the A, B, B, A rhyme scheme. And it's an introduction to the dark details of the lovers' relationship. We see that it is driven solely by their passion and desire for each other. Their love appears everlasting in the center of their entire world. We again have 2 complete sentences for the punctuation. In line 6 to 7, the lovers wake up, or 6 and 7, yes, sorry, my bad. We have the lovers wake up and determined, are motivated to follow through with the internal and compelling thought that their world is everything in their love and their passion. And then we see in lines 7 and 8 an abrupt change in the nature of the lovers and their story. The lovers die. The very thing that drove their love and kept it alive is the same thing that destroyed them. In the final section of the poem, we have the poem wraps up the lover's story and compares their death to a bigger picture. The glory of the earth is more than they. Lines 9 to 10 challenge the perspective of the lover's agony. The lover's entire existence had imploded, but when compared to the grander scheme of earth, the 2 individuals are just simply insignificant. The final lines emphasize the poem's theme and highlight the temporary essence of one's existence. So he says a single flower may have many qualities, may be beautiful, but when you look at all the flowers on earth, there are many flowers to be in awe of. Just like the bird aimlessly following its shadow, striving for a satisfaction it will never have, it disappears abruptly, just like the lover's passion. The sestet acts as a speaking ground for the moral of the poem, which everything is temporary, so enjoy it while it lasts. Stickney points out to his readers that the world is entirely full of beauty. He emphasizes that though something may seem life-shattering, there are still plenty of beauties of earth to enjoy. Some stylistic key points, like we talked about, the structure is an Italian sonnet, having a rhyme pattern of A, B, B, A, B, B, A, with a set of C, D, D, E, C, E. The mood is passion, nostalgia, melancholy. We can see his repetition with the inconclusive they. We see the autumnal imagery, like his lovely moon or twilight on the gentle lake. And then we see his metaphors comparing to nature, like a flower grows a million bows are green. We see his personification of passion, bringing passion to life. And then the theme is the acceptance that everything, even human existence, is temporary and will not stay the same forever. So appreciate the wonders that the earth provides and all that you have before it's gone.
For closing, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us or send us a comment on anything. We're going to assign homework and extra credit. Our homework is to write a quadrant following the moon and rhyme screamed that is mostly used by Stickney in his later works. Include an example of the imagery used by Stickney. For extra credit, if you guys would like, write a paragraph on what legacy you would like to leave if you were to die young.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of y'all's day.